Beloved, there comes a moment in your life when you look at the very thing that has tried to master you, money, and you realize it was never meant to rule you but to serve you. Too many hearts are heavy, too many dreams are buried, and too many families are broken because money has been treated as a master instead of a servant. Listen carefully. The words that come out of your mouth carry authority. Heaven listens, earth listens, and yes, even money listens. There's a realm unseen by the natural eye where angels wait on assignment. They do not move by human begging or by tears of desperation. They move by faithful words. Every time you open your mouth in alignment with God's word, you release a command into the atmosphere. And when you speak to money, not in fear, but in faith, angels are dispatched to arrange opportunities, unlock provision, and bring increase into your life. You were never created to be a slave to bills, debt, or lack. You were created to walk in abundance, declaring with boldness, "Money, you come to me now in the name of Jesus." Speak it, believe it, and watch the angels move. From the very beginning of creation, the world was shaped not by hands, not by labor, but by words. "Let there be light" was not a suggestion, it was a command. And light leapt into existence. The universe itself was formed by sound, by the breath of spoken authority. And if creation itself bows to the authority of spoken words, how much more will the resources of life, money, provision, opportunities respond when you open your mouth with faith? Every word that proceeds from your lips carries creative power. You may not realize it, but right now, your future, your prosperity, and your freedom are being framed by what you say. If your words are filled with doubt and fear, they chain you to lack. But if your words are filled with faith and vision, they call forth angels to bring what you need into manifestation. You are not voiceless in the Spirit. Your mouth is your weapon, your steering wheel, your divine tool, which you command in faith, heaven enforces. Your words carry weight, not because of who you are, but because of the authority placed in your mouth. A story is told of a mother raising 3 children alone after her husband walked out. With no steady job and bills stacked high, the weight of lack seemed unbearable. Neighbors whispered, "She won't make it." Relatives said, "She'll drown in debt." But this woman refused to bow to fear. Every night she would walk through her small kitchen, lift her hands and speak, "Money, you come into this house in the name of Jesus. Resources, you locate me now. My children will not lack." At first, nothing seemed to happen, but she kept speaking, kept declaring, and kept standing. Within months, doors opened that she never expected. An unexpected promotion came through a part-time job. A stranger anonymously paid her overdue rent. Scholarships appeared for her children. One by one, every need was met. Why? Because her words set angels in motion. Her faithful commands built a bridge between her lack and God's provision. Words became her lifeline, her anchor, her weapon, and her victory. What she spoke in the unseen realm showed up in the seen. This is the power of command. Your mouth becomes the pen that writes the script of your destiny. Every time you speak, you are either building or breaking, commanding or conceding. Words are not empty vibrations. They are carriers of authority. The enemy knows this truth, which is why he tries so hard to trap your tongue in negativity, fear, and doubt. But heaven also knows this truth, which is why angels stand waiting for faithful words to be released. They are servants, assigned to carry out divine instructions. And your mouth gives them direction. If you declare, "I will never make it, I'm always broke," you are chaining the angels' hands, leaving them idle while your circumstances worsen. But if you declare, "I am the head and not the tail, provision follows me, money, you serve me and my household," you unlock an army that goes forth to open doors, bring favor, and align opportunities. Every command shapes your financial atmosphere. Just as a captain steers a ship with a single word, so too do you steer your financial destiny with your declarations. The unseen responds to the spoken. Heaven enforces faith-filled speech. Your tomorrow is being drafted by what you choose to say today. Consider this. Even in the natural world, words move people. A judge says guilty and a life changes forever. A teacher says you have potential and a child begins to dream. A doctor says you will recover and hope rises. If words spoken by men in authority carry such weight, how much greater is the authority of a believer who speaks with the backing of heaven? Your words, when drenched in faith, are not powerless whispers. They are decrees in the courtroom of the Spirit. Money is not death. Opportunities are not blind. Circumstances are not unmovable. They bend under the weight of a faith-filled command. That is why you must guard your lips. Stop rehearsing lack. Stop echoing fear. Stop agreeing with poverty. Instead, align your speech with divine truth. The same mouth that can curse your future can also bless it. Choose wisely. Speak boldly. Declare consistently. Because when you speak with faith, angels write it down, and heaven begins to move. Remember, your lips are not ordinary. They are a divine tool of creation designed to command the resources of heaven into your life. Many believers wait for change while remaining silent, but silence births nothing. Faith unspoken is faith unborn. A seed must be planted, and in the kingdom words are seeds. When you speak, you are sowing into the soil of the unseen, and in time a harvest must come. But like any farmer, you cannot sow once and walk away. You must water your words with consistency. Keep speaking, keep commanding, even when you don't see results. Trust that in the unseen realm, movement has already begun. Angels are aligning situations, favor is being stirred, and provision is being dispatched. This is not wishful thinking, it is spiritual law. The universe itself was wired to respond to sound, to respond to authority, to respond to command. And you, as a child of God, have been given the same creative breath. So open your mouth, declare boldly, command with faith. Your words carry more power than you realize. They are the key to unlocking heaven's treasury and directing earth's resources. Speak to money. Speak to lack, speak to opportunity, and watch how creation itself bends to the authority of your faith-filled words. In the unseen realm, angels stand as mighty messengers, warriors of light, waiting to move at the sound of faith. They are not stirred by panic, nor are they dispatched by fear-filled cries. Fear may move emotions, but only faith moves heaven. Fear binds the hands of angels, while faith gives them wings to fly. When you cry out in desperation, heaven hears your pain, but heaven moves when you believe. Fear says, I don't know what will happen. Faith says it is already done. Angels assigned to serve the heirs of salvation lean forward when words of trust are spoken. They respond not to trembling voices filled with doubt, but to bold declarations anchored in God's promises. Fear attracts darkness. Faith releases light. The same situation, when approached with fear, leaves you bound, but when approached with faith, sets angels in motion. Do not underestimate the power of your belief. For the spiritual realm is charged by your confidence. Fear speaks death, faith speaks life, and the angels of heaven are waiting for faith, not fear, to be released from your lips so they can carry out their assignment. A young man once stood at the brink of losing everything. He had lost his job, bills piled high, and eviction was only days away. Fear gripped him in the night, whispering, "You will fail. You will be homeless. You will never rise again." He wept, but tears brought no breakthrough. Then, one evening, sitting alone in his small living room, he opened his Bible and whispered, "Lord, I choose to believe." Something shifted. He began speaking into the air, "My God shall supply all my needs. Angels, go forth and bring the provision I need." Though his circumstances looked unchanged, he kept declaring it. 2 days later, a company he had interviewed with months prior called unexpectedly and offered him a position with higher pay than he had ever earned. The landlord, touched by compassion, forgave his overdue rent. What changed? Not his tears, not his fear. It was his faith. The moment he shifted from despair to trust, the moment his words aligned with faith, angels moved on assignment. They arranged favor, opened doors, and brought solutions. His story is a testimony. Fear did nothing, but faith moved heaven. Fear is a prison, locking doors that faith was designed to open. It paralyzes, keeps you silent, and blinds you to the resources already surrounding you. Angels cannot act on words filled with worry, because worry contradicts the truth of faith. When you speak in fear, you declare the authority of lack, not the authority of abundance. But when you speak in faith, you remind the unseen realm of heaven's promises, and angels enforce those promises. Fear says, I am not enough. Faith says, He is more than enough. Fear whispers, I will sink. Faith declares, I will rise. Angels stand idle when fear dominates your tongue, but when faith erupts, they are released like arrows from a bow. They move to orchestrate divine alignments, connections, resources, opportunities, and breakthroughs you could never plan. Your future will not shift by worrying about bills or rehearsing lack. It shifts when you stand up, speak faith, and release the unseen army that is waiting on your words. The very atmosphere changes when fear is silenced and faith is spoken. In that moment, angels are dispatched, and the impossible begins to bend toward possibility. Think of how children react when they trust their parents. A little child does not question whether food will appear on the table, he simply believes it will. His faith causes him to live in peace, while fear has no room to occupy his mind. In the same way, angels respond when you trust in the provision of your Father. They move when your words align with that trust. If your speech is, I'm afraid I won't make it, the angels cannot move because fear blocks them. But if you say, I know my Father has already made a way, angels go into motion, arranging and aligning things you cannot see. They respond to your boldness, not your trembling. Even in the darkest night when it feels like all is lost, if you dare to speak with faith, angels go forth like fire to bring light into your situation. The difference between breakthrough and breakdown is not how loud you cry, but how firmly you believe. Faith is heaven's language, and angels are heaven's servants. They know only how to respond when they hear the voice of trust. It is not that heaven ignores your tears. Your pain is seen, your cries are heard. But angels are not powered by sorrow. They are powered by faith. Just as electricity requires a switch to release its current, so faith is the switch that activates angelic movement. You may weep in the midnight hour, but if you will rise and declare it is done, my God is faithful, angels are working on my behalf, then the invisible begins to manifest in the visible. Faith turns mourning into dancing because it ignites heaven's resources. Do not let fear silence your declarations, for silence births nothing. Fear creates a wall. Faith opens a door. Even when you feel weak, dare to speak faith. Even when everything screams impossible, let your lips speak possible. For in that moment, angels receive their orders, heaven moves on earth, and your story begins to change. Always remember this truth. Angels are never moved by your fear, but they are always moved by your faith. Money was never designed to be your master. It was never given authority over your heart, your peace, or your destiny. From the very beginning, God created resources to respond to mankind, not to rule over him. The gold in the ground, the silver in the hills, the fruit in the trees, and the seed in the soil were all placed under the dominion of humanity. Yet through time, men have bowed to money as though it were king, forgetting that money was meant to be the servant, not the ruler. When money becomes the master, it enslaves. But when you reclaim your authority, money returns to its rightful position. As a tool to serve your purpose, the difference lies in how you see it. As a god to chase or as a servant to command. You were not born to labor endlessly in fear of bills or debts. You were created to walk in dominion, declaring that money follows your voice, aligns with your destiny, and submits to your God-given authority. Speak boldly. Money, you serve me. You come into my hands for the purpose God has ordained. That is the order heaven has established. A woman once struggled deeply working 2 jobs to keep her children fed. She felt chained to bills, as though money were a cruel master driving her into exhaustion. One evening after another long shift, she sat weeping in her kitchen, convinced she would never be free. But a mentor gently reminded her, money is not your master. Speak to it as your servant. Though she doubted at first, she began declaring daily, Money, you serve me. You come to me now. You are not my Lord, you are my tool. Something shifted. Within weeks, she was offered a new job that paid more than both her old jobs combined. She found creative streams of income she had never considered. Doors opened, debts began to shrink, and her nights were no longer consumed with endless toil. What changed? Her posture. She stopped bowing to money and began commanding it. Angels responded to her faith, and money aligned itself with her declarations. Her story is a reminder that when you stop chasing money as a master and start speaking to it as a servant, it begins to obey. The problem many face is not the lack of money, but the wrong relationship with it. When money rules the heart, fear becomes the language. Fear says, I'll never have enough. I'll never get ahead. I'm always behind. That fear strengthens money's false authority. But when you rise in faith and declare, money was created to serve me, not enslave me, the chains of fear are broken. The spiritual realm recognizes order. God is your source. You are his child, and money is placed beneath your authority. When this alignment is restored, lack loses its grip. It is not about greed or selfish gain. It is about reclaiming dominion. Money is not evil. It is neutral. It takes on the nature of the one who commands it. In the hands of the righteous, it builds churches, feeds families, funds education, and blessed nations. In the hands of the wicked, it destroys. But in every case, money is the servant, not the master. Your words set the tone for how it will serve you. Speak lack, and it will slip away. Speak abundance, and it will align. Remember, money was created to follow you, not to lead you. Every time you speak to money, you are reminding it of its place in creation. Money does not lead your steps. Your faith does. Money does not define your destiny. Your calling does. When you treat money as your master, you compromise your peace for the sake of chasing it. But when you treat it as your servant, you walk in peace, knowing it will come when called. Angels are often the carriers of this provision. They arrange opportunities, open doors, and bring favor. But they move only when your words establish money in its rightful place. This is why some people can work tirelessly and still lack, while others walk in rest and abundance. The difference is not merely in effort, but in authority. You were designed to command money, not pursue it as a god. And the moment you open your mouth in faith, heaven aligns with your declaration. Say, money, you serve me in the purpose of God in my life. And watch as the unseen realm begins to orchestrate alignment. In this, you discover that money is not your burden, it is your tool, designed to obey your voice. The truth is simple yet profound. Money cannot hold authority over a heart filled with faith. It bows when you stand in your rightful position. You were never meant to lose sleep over bills, to live chained by debt, or to chase after wages as though your life depended on them. You were meant to stand tall, declare boldly, and command money to fulfill its assignment in your life. Money is not a master. It is a servant. It was placed in creation to move at your command. And when you speak in faith, angels carry those words into action, ensuring that money flows, opportunities come, and provision aligns. Your purpose is greater than money, and money exists to fuel that purpose. Do not shrink back. Do not let fear silence your voice. Rise up. Declare with authority and remind money of its place. It is not the Lord of your life. It is the servant of your destiny. And every time you speak with faith, money moves to fulfill the will of God in your hands. Beloved, what you have heard today is more than a message. It is a reminder of the authority already resting in your mouth and the divine order placed over your life. Words carry the power of command, shaping the unseen and directing the flow of your future. Angels stand ready, but they move only when they hear the sound of faith, not fear. And money, which so many have mistakenly bowed to, was never created to enslave you. It was created to serve you, to follow your voice, and to fund the purpose God placed within you. You are not a victim of circumstances, nor a slave to lack. You are a child of the King, given authority to speak, to command, and to see heaven's resources align with your destiny. Every time you open your mouth with boldness, heaven listens, earth responds, and angels move. So rise with courage, speak with faith, and walk with confidence, knowing that what you declare will manifest in your life. You are destined for abundance, for peace, and for victory. Thank you for listening with your heart today. May your faith be strengthened, your words be filled with power, and your life overflow with provision. God bless you.